Hi, I'm Jill Oakes, a junior software developer from Indianapolis. I'm a recent graduate of TrueCoder's Software Engineering Code Camp, and for my final project, I created WordleAssistant. WordleAssistant is an app that helps you win Wordle games and track your outcomes over time. It works like this. You enter the green, yellow, and gray letters from your current Wordle game into WordleAssistant, and my app provides a filtered list of words that could potentially be the answer that you're looking for. When the game is over, you can enter the answer, the outcome, and the date into a database so you can keep track of how you're doing over time. You don't need to cheat at Wordle. You want to cheat at Wordle. And now I have the coding skills to make that happen. Let me walk you through my process and show you my code. I started with a few pages of notes of how I wanted the app to look, what functionality it needed, and how I thought I would write the sorting logic. To get all the possible Wordle answers, I inspected the Wordle website and found the main.js file, copied that into Notepad++, and deleted everything that wasn't a valid Wordle answer. Kept everything inside these two square brackets. Then I used a JSON to SQL converter website to automatically write all the insert statements that I need. In MySQL Workbench, I create two tables, one called Words that holds all the answers, and one called Games that holds the info on each daily attempt at Wordle. Words has two columns, word ID and name. Games has four columns, game ID, word ID, win-loss, and date. I run the Wordle answer SQL script that I made a few minutes ago, and now I have a table of 2,309 Wordle answers. Now I create a new ASP.NET Core MVC project in Visual Studio Community. There's a lot built into this template that I didn't have to write myself. CSS and Bootstrap style sheets at the top of layout, minified jQuery Bootstrap and JavaScript scripts at the end. I'll end up changing the visuals with Bootstrap and using a little bit of jQuery for the client-side validation in Game Tracker, but the bulk of this project will be in C# and HTML. For WordleAssistant, I make a word model and a game model with properties to match the columns in my database. I make a guest view model with 20 properties to match the 20 form control boxes. And I make a result view model with two properties, a table head message and an IEnumerable of type word. I also make an iGuess repository with one stubbed out method and a guess repository that conforms to iGuess repository. It's got an IDB connection field and a constructor that accepts IDB connection as an argument. I'll use that in the startup file to open a connection to my database. Here, services.addScoped, created once per HTTP request, and services.addTransient for dependency injection of the guest repository object that's created each time it's requested. On my Razor page for the index, this HTML begin form holds 20 boxes, 5 for the green letters, 5 for the yellow letters, and 10 for the gray letters. All the boxes are coded alike, so I'll show you one to get the idea. Each has a name, B01 through B20. I put regex in the pattern attribute to prevent users from entering anything except letters. And this title sentence is what shows up when they try to do so. All the boxes have a max length of 1. On clicking submit, the guest check method runs in the guest controller with the rest verb post. I start with a variable called green letters set to an empty string. And for each of the 5 green boxes, I use an if-else statement. If the box is empty, add an underscore to the string. Otherwise, add the letter that's in the box. Now that I have a string of 5 characters, I can query the database, select all from words where name like green. The rest of the sorting logic took me 3 days to figure out. The original plan was to query the database once for green letters, then sort the results with link by all the words that contain yellow letters, then use a dot remove for all the gray letters. But I really struggled with how to handle the sorting for each box in succession without duplicating results, and how to handle the logic when some boxes were empty on one go around but were filled in on a subsequent attempt. This code did not work out. Another thought was to make 3 queries, one for each color. I've linked my GitHub repo in the description. You can see in my commits that I had logic for different scenarios, like when there were any yellow letters but no greens or grays, or if there were greens and grays but no yellows. 3 days I was at this, and then it hit me. I needed one giant query to rule them all. So why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I have one giant query to account for every box? Well, from here, I got it figured out in like 30 minutes. First, I wrote a version called Total Query that put all the box results into one long string. It worked, but it is not safe. Doing it this way is a SQL injection attack waiting to happen. What I needed from here was a parameterized statement for each yellow and gray box. So back in the guest controller, the yellow letters are surrounded by percent signs in a string and assigned to the values y1 through y5. If a box is empty, I still need everything else in that string to stay in the query. The gray boxes are in a ternary. If the box is null, I need a variable set to an empty string. Otherwise, I need the letter flanked by percent signs. Now I can send all 16 variables to the getResults method. Green letters, y1 through y5, g1 through g10, they're all passed into a Dapper query. You can see here how it reads. Select all from words where name like @green and name like @y1 and name like @y2 and so forth, and name not like @go1 and name not like @go2. And then after the last gray letter, order by name. When I put breakpoints on this, you can see how the query turns out. The result of the query is returned to the controller. I count the results in the collection and instantiate a view model of type result view model. When the count of results is 1, the table header displays best result. Else if it's 0, no results found. Otherwise, it's going to say X potential answers. Results of the query are assigned to viewModel.words, and the user gets a view of the results page. Here's the table head message, followed by a for each loop to display all the potential answers. At the top of the page, I put a button that takes you back to your guess. On click equals history.back preserves the info in your form so you can make another guess. Or you can use the log your game button to be taken directly to the game tracker insert game page to record your answer. To keep this video short, I'll say that Game Tracker is a CRUD functional app that lets you enter each Wordle answer, the outcome of your game, and the date so you can track your progress over time. You're welcome to take a look at my code on GitHub. And that is WordleAssistant. I had 2 weeks to finish this project, learned hard lessons about naming methods and views better, learned a lot about MVC design pattern. Even when it was frustrating, it was still a really fun project to do. A big thank you to Jeremy Huddleston and everyone at TrueCoders Code Camp. I'm Jill Oakes. If you're looking for a software developer, please reach out to me. My LinkedIn is in the description below this video. Thanks for watching.